Oh my God. You guys.
In this video, we're taking a look at 11 real ghost summonings caught on camera. These are moments where people actually tried to call out to something unseen. And in these cases, something seemed to respond. Watch closely, because some of these moments get strange very quickly. Are you ready? Let's get started, and stay with me until the end. In this clip, a girl is home alone recording a sweet video for her mother's birthday. She's standing in her room, singing a song and filming herself like a normal birthday surprise. At first, everything looks completely normal. Then suddenly, there's a loud knock on one of the doors. She pauses, a little confused, and goes to check it. When she opens the door, there's nobody there. She looks around the hallway for a moment, thinking maybe someone was playing a prank, but the house is completely empty.
¿Quién anda ahí?
She walks back to her room and tries to continue recording. Then another door knocks again. This time the sound feels closer. She checks again, and once again there's nobody outside.
Mami, te grabo este video porque están tocando constantemente la puerta.
Now she's clearly nervous, but still trying to stay calm. She slowly walks back into her room, and right at that moment, the blanket on her bed suddenly gets pulled down hard.
¿Quién?
Almost like someone yanked it, she quickly turns the camera around, showing the whole room. She even checks under the bed. There's nobody there, but something definitely moved that blanket. This eerie CCTV clip shows a quiet museum exhibit hall late at night. Glass display cases and artifacts sit in dim emergency lighting, while the building remains completely still. Instantly, you don't feel something different till you focus. There is a ghostly figure moving around, observing paintings. A pale, semi-transparent humanoid figure slowly moves from display to display on the left side of the frame. Tall and misty, with no visible facial features, it glides smoothly, as if floating. The figure briefly pauses near the center, almost as if observing a painting, before fading into darkness, leaving the museum silent and empty once again. A CCTV camera captured a hotel security guard named John responding to a distress call after reports of shouting coming from a room that had not been checked into.
John, do you copy? It's room 209. Amy says nobody's checked into that room, and there's reports of screaming coming from that room. Amy, he's on his way down there right now.
As John walked down the hallway, he could hear shouting coming from the room, even though it appeared unoccupied. The unsettling part was that no guest was registered there, and the corridor seemed completely empty.
What's going on, John?
When John reached the door and opened it, something shocking occurred. A strange, translucent figure suddenly rushed past him and disappeared into the hallway. Startled, John stepped inside to investigate, but there was no one there. The room was completely empty, yet it showed clear signs of disturbance. Items scattered, furniture disrupted, and the shower left running.
I would wait for the police, John. Amy, John's gonna enter the room real quick, just check, make sure, see what's going on. Wait one.
At first, the incident seemed unbelievable. However, when the footage was reviewed, the images appeared clear and consistent, making the encounter all the more difficult to explain. Whatever John encountered that night remains a mystery, but it was really scary. Trying to call a ghost might sound like fun, but moments like this make people think twice. In this clip, a group of friends are sitting around a round table in a dim room. There's a candle placed in the middle, and everyone has their eyes closed while holding hands, almost like they're trying to focus while calling out to something unseen. For a few seconds, nothing really happens. The candle flame moves slightly, and the room stays quiet while they continue the ritual. It almost feels like it's just another attempt that isn't going to work. But then the table suddenly shifts. At first, it's a small movement, the kind that could easily make you think someone moved their hands by accident, but the shaking doesn't stop. Instead, the table starts moving more noticeably, almost like it's being pushed from underneath.
Pažnja, pažnja, ovo je zemljotres.
The friends immediately react, looking at each other in confusion. And for a moment, nobody seems to understand how the table just started moving like that. Whatever they tried calling, something clearly answered. At exactly 1 a.m., a woman named Mikai was suddenly awakened by unsettling sounds coming from outside her door. A woman's voice shouting in distress. Terrified and unsure of what to do, Mikai hesitated and couldn't bring herself to open the door. Two days later, at the same time, the strange sounds returned. This time, they were louder and accompanied by heavy banging on her door. Gathering her courage, Mikai decided she couldn't ignore it any longer. She slowly approached the door and, despite her fear, chose to open it. What she saw was deeply disturbing. A creepy, witch-like woman with long black hair crouched right in front of her in a strange, animal-like posture. The figure's presence was both eerie and overwhelming, leaving Mikai frozen in shock. Instinctively, she slammed the door shut and immediately called the authorities. However, when help arrived and they inspected the area, there was no sign of anyone. No footprints, no evidence, nothing at all to explain what she had seen. This woman's reaction shows us what happens when fear and the unexplained collide, leaving behind questions that have no clear answers. Playing with spirits in a cemetery. That already sounds like a bad idea. But watch what happens in this clip. A young man is inside a cemetery late at night taking part in a strange spiritual game. On the ground is an old mat that was found there. According to local customs in parts of Southeast Asia, this type of mat is sometimes used to cover the body of someone who has died in an accident. Instead of leaving it alone, they decide to use it for a ritual. They place a small puppet on the mat, say a prayer, and begin casting spells while recording everything. After that, the puppet is wrapped inside the mat, and the whole thing is rolled up tightly. Then they tie it with 3 red threads. Once everything is set, they start chanting again and step back, waiting to see if anything happens. For a few seconds, nothing moves. The rolled mat just lies there on the ground in the quiet cemetery. Then suddenly something strange happens. The mat slowly begins to move on its own. At first, it's just a small shift. But then it moves again. And that's when everyone watching realizes the mat isn't supposed to be moving at all. A CCTV camera captured a terrifying moment when a woman walked into her kitchen and immediately realized something was wrong. Objects around her began moving on their own, and even the cooker appeared to turn on as if controlled by an unseen force.
Calma, gente, é só não ter medo, é só não ter medo, é só não ter medo, só não ter medo, vale-me Nossa Senhora.
You could see the fear in her eyes as she froze, trying to understand what was happening. This wasn't just a quick or harmless incident. The activity continued, making it clear something was controlling the space. And whatever that was, it really shook the entire environment that night. Listen closely to this one, because the fear in her voice is very real. A woman is recording inside her home while calling someone named Dr. Kosler. From the start, you can hear that she's already scared. She explains that strange things are happening again in the house. First, the water suddenly turns on by itself. Then she starts hearing noises moving through different rooms.
Dr. Kostler, it's Mary. It's happening again. The water just came on. I'm hearing noises. My dogs are going crazy. I'm hearing stuff in the kitchen, in the bedroom. I don't know what to do.
The kitchen, the bedroom, like something is walking around the house. At the same time, her dogs begin barking and acting restless, almost like they're reacting to something they can sense. You can hear the panic building in her voice while she tries to explain what's going on, and then suddenly the sound of water running starts again.
Oh my God, the water just turned on. I'll call you right back.
That's when she completely loses her calm and starts shouting for it to stop, telling whatever is there to leave them alone. And honestly, moments like this are terrifying.
Oh my God, go away, leave us alone! Oh my God.
Not because of what we clearly see, but because of what might be there that we can't see at all. During heavy traffic on a busy road, something strange was caught on camera. A ghostly figure was seen walking calmly through the cars, as if it didn't exist in the same physical space. Drivers and onlookers were left confused and unsettled. The figure moved clearly between vehicles, unaffected by noise, lights, or people. It simply passed through. At first, many thought it was a trick of the light or a camera glitch. However, when the footage was checked again 13 hours later, the figure was still there. This ruled out any temporary distortion, leaving behind a chilling mystery that no one could easily explain. Okay, imagine checking your home security camera and seeing this. The room is completely empty. No one's inside, no windows open, nothing moving. Just a normal, quiet house while the owners are away. For a few seconds, everything looks totally normal. Then suddenly, a chair moves, not slowly tipping over like it lost balance. It actually slides and falls like something pushed it. And that's when things get even stranger. Another piece of furniture shifts across the room. It doesn't just wobble or fall. It's almost like it's being shoved. There's no wind, no shaking walls, nothing around that could cause it. And the creepy part is, the room is still empty. If you were watching this live on your phone, you'd probably pause the video and watch it again just to make sure you saw it right, because it really looks like something is inside the room, moving things around, except there's nobody there. So now I'm curious, if this was your house and you saw this on your security camera, would you go back inside right away, or would you stay outside for a while? On January 26, 2020, a camera mounted on the property of a woman living in Alabama captured a strange figure lurking in the woods. The figure appears human-shaped.
Right there. What the
Crawling along the ground. After a few moments, it slowly stood upright. And what the camera captured was something that defied easy description. It's a skeletal being with barely a trace of flesh on its frame. It then began moving back toward the tree line, carrying with it an atmosphere that was deeply unsettling.
Where's the dog? Well, you better go now.
To this day, nobody knows what it was. But one thing is certain, whether it was a ghost or something else entirely, whatever that thing is, it is still out there in those woods. Watch the floor closely in this clip because something strange happens in just a second. A small dog is calmly walking across the living room rug while the owner records the moment on camera. At first, it looks like an ordinary scene inside the house, nothing unusual happening. But then, something dark appears. From underneath a piece of furniture, a shadowy shape slowly stretches out across the floor. It almost looks like a hand reaching forward.
I really can't see, guys. This is terrifying. Please do not hurt or harm me.
What the
Right as the dog passes by, the dark shape suddenly moves toward the dog's back legs, almost like it's trying to grab it. The dog instantly reacts, jumping forward as if it felt something touch it. The person filming is clearly shocked, and before they can even react properly, the dark silhouette quickly pulls back and disappears under the furniture again. Within seconds, it's gone. No person is visible, nothing else moves, and the room looks normal again. Many people who watched the clip believe it could be a shadow person, a type of dark figure sometimes reported moving through homes. But whether it's something paranormal or just a strange illusion, that moment where the shadow reaches for the dog is what makes this video so unsettling. A man began to suspect that something was lurking in his basement, so he decided to investigate with his partner. As they made their way downstairs, the atmosphere already felt tense. They were struck by the sight of a strange woman silently passing by. The moment was so brief and unsettling that they questioned whether their eyes were playing tricks on them. It wasn't imagination. A dark figure could clearly be seen walking behind them, confirming their fears.
You didn't get that on camera? Freaked me out so much when you did that. Bro, someone...
Unwilling to stay any longer, because if that really was a ghost, they wanted no part of it.